They won.
Jalen Rose.
What up, though?
Last night, downtown Los Angeles, the New Orleans Pelicans visited the Los Angeles Lakers. And this was not about the Pelicans getting the win. This was about the Lakers getting absolutely waxed. Jalen, I no longer think that this team has a puncher's chance at winning a playoff series. I no longer think this team is going to be a memorable Lakers season. This team is going to the play-in game, and they're going to be soon forgotten.
So I'm pretty sure this leading the show because C.J. McCollum has been balling with the Pelicans, right?
No.
I'm pretty sure we're leading this game
We're not
with the
celebrate
show
Herb
because
Jones
of Brandon Ingram
no.
and his passing ability. How about Willie Green, how he's coaching his team?
Valanciunas playing well.
Okay.
None of that.
Okay. Let me just address the elephant in the room. When we start having this GOAT conversation, I want y'all to remember these years that LeBron played for the Lakers.
Okay.
That's going to be a part of his legacy. And so when we start talking about 4 championships in 20, 21, 22 years, talk to me then when we start having a GOAT conversation. He's been outstanding numbers-wise.
He's been great.
Numbers-wise. Like last night is a perfect example. Like I'll be watching the game. LeBron had over 30 last night, right? And if you just box score watch, you're like, LeBron's terrific. What's wrong with everybody else? LeBron was a major part of the problem last night, too. And let me tell you why. One word, turnovers. And he threw one so bad on the baseline that the fans in Los Angeles who've seen some of the greatest basketball players of all time booed LeBron and the Lakers.
Booed LeBron James and the Lakers.
And I got more.
Floor.
I got more. You want to talk about this? Let's really talk about it. Okay, DeAndre Jordan plays for them. Did you see that pass he threw?
He tried to throw it outside the arena. He tried to take down one of those banners.
So Anthony Davis is out. DeAndre Jordan is getting a chance to play minutes. And that's what he does? Now let's talk about Russ. Where's he from?
He's from Los Angeles.
Imagine being a hometown kid playing for the Lakers, and you're one of the main reasons why they're in the 9th seed.
Probably the main reason, let's be honest.
And when you go to the podium, you have to be a pro. You have to be mature. But I have to tell you, Jacoby, when you in the arena and fans booing, you hear it. And you know what else you do? You take it to the locker room. You take it to dinner. You take it home. You take it to practice and rinse and repeat. When Russ goes to the podium and denies that fact, that lets me know that they're really in trouble.
So let's just quickly listen to what Jalen is referencing from the Lakers crowd yesterday. They're really booing. That's not a couple of people.
Booing.
They're really booing. That's not a small faction of fans up in the high seats. No, they're booing.
So here's what's about to happen now. So LeBron was able to leave Cleveland after winning the championship, and that's his hometown, and they celebrated that. He was able to leave Miami after delivering 2, and they were at least able to appreciate what he did. While the Lakers fans are going to be thankful that he won a championship, they're going to remember the 16 that they got before him. And this franchise and fan base expects them to contend, not have a worse record than the Clippers, and Kawhi Leonard not even playing.
Well, you remember over All-Star break when LeBron James said that the door was open to go back to Cleveland. He said that he was going to play wherever his son was going to play. Well, he had to walk that all back. And before this game, he said this is the franchise that he wants to be with. He will be in the purple and gold as long as he can.
So let me teach you why he walked it back. Because the other 14 guys heard that too. And if you have one foot out the door, if you on your main source and you looking at the front door, what you think everybody else gonna do? And that was the residue of that last night. Playing at home. And here's the other thing that works against the Lakers. We don't know when AD's coming back. They're still gonna be on national TV. And every time they play against another squad, the squad is gonna get up to beat them and LeBron.
Jay, they're gonna have to win a play-in game to win another play-in game to get in the playoffs. That's where they're at right now. That's where we are with the Los Angeles Lakers with LeBron James and Anthony Davis and Russell Westbrook. They have to win a play-in game to win a play-in game to play into the playoffs.
And if we keep a score, 1 championship with the Lakers, 1 first-round exit for LeBron, and now a play-in situation for LeBron and the Lakers. And again, it's not only on him, but let me tell you the difference between being 39 and 22. If I ask you, who has a better roster, the Lakers or the Mavs? Who would you say?
Lakers.
Okay. The reason why the Mavs have a better record is because their superstar is younger. This is a young man's game.
And it shows up. AD hasn't been available.
No, but I'm talking about beyond AD. Because we're going to say LeBron's playing in the MVP level, right? So if that's the case in the NBA, that means we should kind of be in the thick of things.
Be 500,
right?
Should be 500,
right? Is that too much? So if somebody's playing like an MVP, don't you expect that team to be at least 500?
Yes. Well,
okay.
In the Eastern Conference, there is a gentleman playing like the MVP, and of course that is Joel Embiid, and he just so happens to have a brand new teammate. And after 2 games against, admittedly, the Timberwolves and the Knicks, who are pretty trash, they look pretty good, Jalen.
Brand new funk.
I like the way this looks.
Get
you remember
down.
James Harden when he scored 4
funk.
points in Sacramento and he didn't seem really interested and engaged? Well, all of a sudden he's interested and engaged and he looks good.
Well, I have to say this. To the fans of the Houston Rockets and the Brooklyn Nets, you deserve to have disdain for James Harden.
That's fair.
For people who love the game and appreciate players that's going to work hard and be disciplined, even though they're not, quote unquote, happy or satisfied with their situation, you deserve to be disappointed in James Harden. To the OGs, the shoulders that we stand on in this league that now have guaranteed contracts and players are getting $30, $40, $50 million to play, you should have disdain for James Harden. But fans of Philly, that's your guy.
Good. Oh, we're good. We traded Seth Curry and Andre Drummond for James Harden.
That's your man.
It looks good.
That's your man.
It looks good.
Because you got one of the most talented bigs of all time that could dribble, pass, and shoot and play with his back to the basket. And I've said this when he was in Houston. James Harden is the most unique offensive weapon that this league has seen. And then somebody will follow that up and say, why, Jalen? Because he's the only person at some point of his career that has led the league in total threes made, total free throws made, total assists, and points per game. There will not be another player to do that. Usually that's 4 different people. And so he has the game to do it. And so now you pair him with Embiid, the pick and roll, the pick and pop, the dribble handoff action, the lob over the top, and then Joel even getting out in transition.
Yep.
And so I like the East after this move to being a revolving door officially. Nobody celebrated the Bucks more than me. I remember people was calling Giannis Robin. I remember people was saying Giannis should leave. I stood on the table say re-sign, reinvest. You can win a championship with Middleton as the second best player, and it happened. The Miami Heat, they won the East. But now I think it's somebody else's turn. And I think Philadelphia is in pole position. And I think the Nets, when they get healthy, if I can see an all-star level Ben Simmons, that should be the Eastern Conference Finals.
So many question marks with these 2 teams, but we have now seen at least 2 games of James Harden. It looks good. And let's not forget, friend of the show, Maxey. Because Maxey's looking good too. Like, he is truly sort of like a third option. And, you know, Embiid and Harden aren't going to be out there all the time. Maxey has really developed into a not just a contributor, but someone you can rely on in a playoff series.
So a player like Maxey, right? He had a chance to be the starting point guard for Philly when Simmons was out. And he proved that he can hold that down and be a productive player. Now you bring in James Harden, it's like, I don't have to get 10 assists. Well, I don't have to run a team. I can do what Kyrie was doing with the Nets. I can get out in transition and be a scorer. And Maxey's been terrific. And he's going to be a game changer because James Harden is going to advance the ball. See, he had a triple-double. And so usually when you grabbing defensive boards, you're advancing it to Maxey. The one thing they're going to have to unlock, they need a backup center badly.
Yeah, they do.
Like watching Tobias Harris and Paul Millsap play those. I felt bad for Tobias. To be honest,
they need
I felt bad. He down there getting he was guarding Mitchell Robinson. You know what I'm saying?
That's one of the things. They sacrificed Curry, and they had somebody to back him up. They also sacrificed Drummond, and they do not have a replacement for him.
Absolutely.
When Joel Embiid gets tired, when Joel Embiid gets in foul trouble, and all of that.
Yes, indeed.
Jalen, you mentioned the Dallas Mavericks earlier, and they've been playing well, and they showed it coming back from 19 down to beat the Golden State Warriors. And, of course, it was all behind Luka Doncic.
And Finney Smith, I'm happy he got a contract. Like, he's one of those underrated players that's a two-way guy that can make threes, that when we talk about the Mavs, we'll only mention Luka. But they added Spencer Dinwiddie, who made a couple of big shots late, is also a secondary ball handler to Luka, a big guard, a decision maker. But Luka's just outstanding. The 34 points, the 11 boards, but then the clutch performance, how and when he's able to attack. It's not just the numbers, it's when he's getting them. And I like the way he found a way to lead his team back from a big-time deficit. And that's against the world. You see, and by the way, why celebrate the Mavs? You see Steph Curry pregame warm-up?
Of course I did.
That was incredible.
Of course I did.
It's incredible.
He looks like a robot. It looks like one of those
incredible.
robots.
Incredible. The high finger roll, back to the free throw line, back to the top of the key, back to the three, back to half court, rinse and repeat, back and forth. That muscle memory and that repetition is why he's a GOAT at shooting the basketball.
Well, Luka is one of the young stars in the league. Another young star that has not just emerged as a star, but one of the best players in the league is Ja Morant. And Ja Morant went up against a Bulls team in Chicago.
Word up.
Scored 46 points and got a win on the road for the Grizzlies.
The thing I love about Ja is something I also love about Kyrie. I love little big men. Guys that play below the free throw line. Like Derrick Rose in his prime was really good at this, because it's tough to be a small guy and finish consistently at the hoop. Like when you see this, you're like, oh, okay, he just quick, right? But he got to navigate through traffic and jump off of the wrong leg in order to get that in the hoop. And these are out in transition, throwing lobs to him over the top. Here's the thing I want to say about Ja. Shout to Taylor Jenkins for developing their roster from within. Bane, as a second-year player, has become a knockdown shooter and a lockdown defender. Steven Adams is a terrific screener, giving them quality minutes. And if they get my guy, and shout to Jaren Jackson Jr., who plays right, blocks left, and he's deserved. Jaren Jackson Jr., 2 blocks per game, deserves to be in the Defensive Player of the Year conversation. And last but certainly not least, if they get my guy,
get Brooks back,
my irrational confidence
this all
guy,
season without one of their best players.
And let me tell you what unlocked Ja. Valanciunas took up a lot of post-ups and space in the paint. Dylan Brooks, you ready for this? He attempts more shots than Ja when he's playing. He's out. So now you see Ja getting all of this room to roll, and he's balling.
Well, hopefully they will get him back. And Jalen, we have been waiting for 2 years to see the Nets at full strength. And guess what? We're still waiting. No idea when Ben Simmons is going to play. There are rumors about Kevin Durant coming back, but they got a big win over the weekend. We'll discuss that right after this. You are watching